Yeah, hi there. These comments, I'm going to just use your initials T, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons. Okay, you said, then I registered for the TOEFL online course. I took the TOEFL test on April 25th, 2015. My scores were reading 22, listening 25, speaking 19, writing 20 for a total of 86. All right, then you said, I reviewed my materials and took the TOEFL test again and again without improvement. So, it looks like you have reached what we call a linguistic ceiling. You've reached a pretty high level of English, but not as high as you want, right? Okay, so you also say, once I took TOEFL Practice Online ETS on April 17th, and my scores were reading 26, listening 21, speaking 24, writing 25, for a total of 96. But that was a practice test, am I right? All right, so you say, now I really need your help. I saw many students were satisfied from your 7-step system. I saw your study guides on the website too. The first one is very attractive, 30-day online TOEFL course 7-step study guide focusing on vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar, listening, reading, and speaking. Could you please tell me if this is appropriate for me or not? Do you have any recommendation? I would probably make this plural here, for me. All right, so what do we have? Basically, you're at 87, you want to go to 100. 30 days might not be enough. I mean, I cannot say for sure. I cannot say exactly, but my experience tells me 100 is a very high score. No, I had a student, I don't know, last year or probably about 8 months ago or so. And he actually, when I met him, his score was around 84, 85, and then in 2.5 months after using my course, he went to a score of 105, including 29 points on the writing. So he was able to make some pretty good improvements, but I can't say that you will get exactly his same improvements. As you know, that learning English is different, it's tricky, and I'm very careful not to make any promises, but I'm going to say this. My judgment tells me that 87 to 100, that 30 days, probably is not enough time for you to reach that goal. 100 is a very high score. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to recommend my 60-day TOEFL study guide for you. But remember that once you have complete unlimited access to all of my lessons in my online TOEFL course, you can use my course any way you like. You can study whatever lessons you want. The study guides are simply suggestions. So instead of the 60-day study guide, if you want to use my 30-day study guide, you can certainly do that. But my judgment's telling me that you probably need more than just 30 days to reach this goal. I'm being honest with you, right? That's how I am. And whether or not you choose to be one of my students, I don't want you to choose my course just because you think you're going to reach your goal in 30 days, because I'm not making that promise to you right now, right? But here are some things that you can do. Now, you have to look at my suggestions and ask yourself, what are you already doing? What have you done to continue to improve your academic English language proficiency? So if you're doing some of these suggestions already, that's fine. If not, you should start doing these things immediately. All right, well, let's see what we have here. You say, yesterday I received my TOEFL IBT score 87. I took the TOEFL test 4 times, and instead of it here, I would say this. This was the 4th time. I'm really disappointed and embarrassed. I feel I'm really stupid, but I cannot give up. I need 100. So, you know, first of all, don't get too down on yourself here. The TOEFL is a difficult exam. Everybody is different. We don't all make improvements in exactly the same way. So I don't think it's anything about your being stupid, so don't worry about that. Now, here's what you have going for you. If you are not willing to give up, you're going to make it. You will get your score. The question is, how long will it take, right? So you need 100. You say, I see your videos. You don't need to have possessive here. You need a plural noun here. So just say, I see your videos on the YouTube, and I see how patient and honest you are. So I decided to write this email and ask for help. All right. So if you want to use it this way, I'd probably say that. You're using this as a transition word. Now, if you want to be a little more formal, you could say something like that. Therefore, about 2 years ago, make this past tense, right? I immigrated to the U.S. Maybe put this, and I would put here a master's degree in architecture. But I cannot find a job here. I need 100 on the TOEFL. For graduate school, I took the pre-TOEFL class in my city. I took my first TOEFL test on September 9th, 2014. My scores were reading 19, listening 11, speaking 22, writing 17, total 69. So, you know what? You went from 69 to 87. So far, I mean, I know you're not satisfied, but you have made some very good improvement in 12 months. In my opinion, you're doing a great job. Okay, so let me give you some ideas here. So first of all, keep reading every day for about 45 minutes. My recommendation, newspapers, magazines, and longer books. Definitely get in the habit of doing this every day. This is probably one of the most important suggestions I can give you. You already have a TOEFL score of about 87, so that tells me you have pretty good English skills, so you should be able to understand a lot of reading materials in English right now. Now, if you want, you can start keeping what I call a vocabulary and a grammar journal. What that means is when you see a new word you're not sure about, you can write it in the journal, write the sample sentence, and then put in English a definition of the word. So you can certainly do that. Now, in addition to doing the reading practice, actually I forgot one more thing. You should also keep what's called a grammar journal. That means when you see sentences that you're reading that you think are kind of cool and complex and you like the style that the writer has chosen, you can take that sample sentence and write it into your grammar journal also. So now you're keeping a record of some sample sentences that you're reading and also some vocabulary that you're reading. Now, the next thing you can do is listen. You should practice listening for about 45 minutes every day. This is also important. Now, you're living in the United States according to what you're telling me, so you should have access to English TV. So when you're watching TV, I recommend during these 45 minutes, pay attention to news, documentary history, and especially science programs. And start writing down the main and the most important supporting points of the reading and the listening passages. Now, for whatever reason, if you don't have English TV but you have access to the internet, there are 3 websites that can help you begin improving your listening comprehension today. National Public Radio, TED Talks, and Randall's Cyber Listening Lab. These are 3 great websites, all designed to give you great practice to improve your listening comprehension abilities. Now, my third tip here as I'm giving you these suggestions is it's not easy, but you should practice your note-taking. You need to start getting used to taking notes on reading and listening passages. Get the notes down on a sheet of paper. This is going to be helpful. And then using your notes, you can write 3 250-word summaries weekly. This is great practice, obviously, for your integrated writing proficiency, which helps you for the integrated writing task of the TOEFL IBT. So your summaries need to focus on the main and the most important supporting points of the reading and the listening passages, and you need to get used to using your notes to write these summaries. I'm telling you, If you can improve your note-taking during the reading, listening, speaking, and writing sections of the exam, you will find that you will have a very, very high TOEFL score. It should help you get over 100. Note-taking is part of that. Now, in addition to doing writing practice, you should also do speaking practice. So I recommend give 3 60-second oral summaries. So you should give 3 60-second oral summaries. And remember, record your voice absolutely. Now this is one of the benefits of my online TOEFL course, is I actually allow you, for your payment, the payment that you're paying me every month, part of your service allows you to post 1 speaking and 1 writing practice test on a daily basis. So you can start getting feedback from me each day on your speaking and writing abilities. But here, when you do your 60-second oral summaries of the reading and listening passages that you're practicing, make sure that you are recording your voice and you're listening to your recordings and paying attention in 3 main areas. Delivery, which means pronunciation. You should also be paying attention to your vocabulary and grammar use. And finally, you should be paying attention to the topic development, that is to say, how you're organizing and developing your responses. Now, these are great steps right here. Let's call these steps 1 through 5. Now, my suggestion is for the next 2 months, you're doing these things. This will probably take you 2 hours every day just to do these suggestions here. So steps 1 through 5, you should probably be spending about 60% of your time. I'm telling you, these suggestions right here are going to be very, very helpful for you. Okay, now let's go to the next one. My next recommendation is to go through my 60-day TOEFL study guide. Now, the way this is designed, I've designed my online course to give you practice with a study guide in all 7 areas on a weekly basis. That means that you'll do some vocabulary, some pronunciation, some grammar lessons. You'll also be completing listening, reading, speaking, and writing lessons on a day-to-day basis. This helps you develop well-rounded academic English language proficiency. Now, what you can do is, after about maybe 4 to 6 weeks, you want to get a mark. So I recommend that you take a full-length Ibt Practice Test. These are 5-hour-long tests. As boring as it is, it will give you an idea of what your score is on the actual TOEFL Ibt exam. Now, I offer as an additional service, if you go to the 8th section of my course, and I'm pretty sure you've already joined my course, right? So if you go to the 8th section of my course, you can learn more about my full-length Ibt Practice Test. So if you take a practice test, there's a few things that are going to happen. Number one, you can familiarize yourself more with the format and the structure of the exam, but you already know it pretty well because you've taken it 4 times. But also, you will get a chance to mark your progress, which is also important. So after 4 or 5 weeks or 6 weeks, when you take the practice test, if your score is still 85 or 86, it means that you have not broken through the wall yet. You have not solved the language problems you need to solve to get up to 100. So it wouldn't be a good idea to take the actual TOEFL exam if your practice test is still about the same. Remember that. It's interesting with second language acquisition, but sometimes you do what's called a plateau, which means you went from 69 to the mid-80s rather easily, right? Well, not easily, but you got there, right? But now you're finding that it's hard to move higher than 85 or 86. That means you have to work doubly hard right now. You got to really put in the time and the effort. You will make progress if you have a positive attitude, if you're motivated, and most importantly, you're not willing to give up. Even if you don't reach your goal in 30 days, you fight until the end, until you get the email from the TOEFL telling you that you have reached 100 or higher on the TOEFL IBT. Now, my recommendation here, as you're going through the lessons in my 60-day TOEFL study guide, I recommend that you spend about 40% of your available time to do this. And then, like I said, in 4 to 6 weeks from now, you can take a full-length Ibt Practice Test, which just brings another idea here. The Ibt Practice Test will not only give you a chance to mark your progress, but it also helps you develop the stamina and the strength you need to complete a 5-hour exam. It's not easy to complete a 5-hour exam in English. You know what I'm saying? But remember, if you're doing the reading and the listening every day for 45 minutes, that's in 1.5 hours. That's an hour and a half that you've been concentrating every day with reading and listening passages. And trust me, that is going to come in handy when you take the actual TOEFL exam. So these are my suggestions for you. So I'm being honest with you. I'm telling you, you're probably looking at least 2 months before you're going to reach your goal. You're going to have to work really hard. My recommendation is to just say, okay, this is it. I'm tired of not reaching my goal. I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm going to follow Michael's suggestions. So what you have to do here is you're probably looking at spending anywhere from 3 to 5 hours every day for the next 2 months working on mainly these 6 areas. You're doing the reading every day, the listening every day, you're working on your note-taking, you're writing summaries on a week-to-week basis to improve your writing, you're also giving 60-second oral summaries, and then you're also, on a day-to-day basis, you're working on the lessons in my 60-day TOEFL study guide to improve your academic English language proficiency. All right, so that's it. And thank you for joining my course. Remember, I am only an email away. If you get frustrated, if you have a question, you can always send me an email. I will try to answer and address your concerns as quickly as possible. And remember, use my course wisely. You're paying for it on a month-to-month basis. Once you don't want to use my course anymore, you'll notice if you go to my website, my stealth.bettertoeflscores.com, once you log in there and you see all of my lessons there, in each section there's a link that will tell you how to unsubscribe from my course when you no longer need it. You have to go into PayPal and cancel your payment, or you will be billed forever. Now, if you get a payment that you don't want to pay, and you say, well, Michael, I want to cancel my course, I don't want to go to or I want to cancel my subscription with your course, so I don't want to pay for this next payment, I can refund your payment, no problem. PayPal allows me to issue refunds up to 60 days. All right, so anyway, these are my comments for you. So I'm glad to have you as one of my students, and all the best to your high-scoring TOEFL success.